Anjikiwal, Rasfion, Tishanagoshan, Egua, Lavalik Peldo Totan, Maka Opashtauli Zuni weekend, Egua Nikishte, Tamon Michifuyan, Nikishanamahan, Por Santa Pergina, Tanchpi, Nikishanamahan, Lizistuer de Michif, Long de Michif, Egua, Not Pemach, Nan de Michif. So, hello everybody. Nice to see some familiar faces and some new faces tonight. I just introduced myself in Michif. And what I said was, my name is Russ, and I originally my people come from the Qu'Appelle Valley, from a road allowance community on the south side of Katepwa Lake. And I live in Regina, and I've lived in Regina for a pretty long time. And I currently work at Suntip Regina. Suntip, if you don't know, is the Saskatchewan Urban Native Teacher Education Program. And at Suntip, I co-teach Michif with one of my Michif mentors, Irma Klein. I also teach Michif history and Michif culture. So I'm all Michifed out at Suntip Regina. do a lot of culturally oriented teachers. So wow, Kakiao, welcome everybody. As I said, it's nice to see. It's always interesting for me to like check out the names and see like who's coming back and who's maybe not coming back and who's new to the classes. So if you are new, we'll try to take it slow. We'll do a little bit of review. But of course, I see quite a few people here that have been to just about all of the lessons. So that's awesome. We're just about halfway through. We're at lesson 4. So I believe there's 10 lessons in total. And my goal, I guess, by the end of these 10 lessons is that you all become fluent. No, just kidding. You're not going to become fluent. I've been trying to learn this language for almost 10 years, and I don't even think I'm fluent yet. So, but what I do hope is that you'll learn a little bit about the history of Michif and how it came to be. Maybe learn how to introduce yourself. We're a very relational people, us Michifs, and so it's nice if you can introduce yourself to a Michif speaker and tell them, you know, who you're related to and where you're from and all of that good stuff. So. And also just hoping that if you are somebody who works with kids or is a teacher, that maybe you'll learn some tips about how you can incorporate Michif into your classroom. So, Tawao Kakiao, welcome everybody. And tonight we're going to do, as I said, a little bit of review. We're going to look at demonstratives because I know that can be a challenging thing. As we learned last class, there are both animate and inanimate demonstratives in Michif. And then we're going to move on to some terms having to do with la terre, which is the land. So we're going to look a little bit about some common words from the land, some common plants, and some common animal names. And hopefully we'll have a little fun tonight as well. We're also going to learn about weather, which is a good topic if you live here in Saskatchewan. We always want to talk about the weather. We're a little obsessed, I would say, for good reason. But so there are quite a few people in here that have been to most of the previous lessons. So I would love it if somebody would take a shot at introducing themselves. And so I'll just review one more time. I don't have a visual up, but how you would say hello to everybody is Tanche Kiawao. And if you want to say your name, you'd say Russ. Well, of course you'd say your name, but I'll say Russ Deshinikashun. Russ Deshinikashun. And if you want to get really fancy, you can tell me where your people are from. And so my people are from Katepwa, so I would say Katepwe Doshchin. Katepwe Doshchin. So if you put them all together, that's Tanche Kiawao, Ras Deshinikashon, Katepwe Doshchin. So somebody want to give it a shot? You can just put, okay, go ahead, Jessica.
Tanche Kiawao, Jessica Deshinikashon, La Valley Dototan, La Regina ni weekend.
Hey, give me a toten. Do you remember?
I'm trying.
That's awesome. Anybody else want to give it a shot?
I will.
Okay.
Tanche Diawana, Terry the Shinkashon, Lac Canal et Ocean.
Gimiototen, Duck Lake, eh? That's a beautiful little town.
Yeah, I
Oh.
wasn't sure to say Lac Canal or Lac Sisip.
I think either's acceptable. I think most Michifs from the south here who may not be familiar with that area would probably call it Lac de Canard.
Lac de Canal. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'm just putting in the chat just in case you're struggling with some of the pronunciation. Remember that I do my pronunciation phonetically, so I'll just write the three things that we're working on to introduce ourselves, and I'll put them in the chat. So, Rastoshchin. And I guess I don't have to do this all separately, but Katepwe. Oh, sorry, I screwed up there. Russ, the Shinekashon. There we go. And I would say Katepwe Doshin. So disregard the second one there. I'm not from Russ. I am Russ. Oshtin means from. It's where you're from. So, okay, somebody else want to give it a shot?
I'm gonna try.
All right, James.
Tanche Kiawao, James Shinekashon,
Good.
Big H. Saint Rose de Lac, Dostin.
Oh, perfect. Good job. Good job pushing that H out, James. I know it's a challenge. Anybody else want to try?
I can try, but I think I learned to say it just a little bit differently, if that's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, that's
All
fine.
right. Tanse Kiawao, Teresa Dishinagashun, Ma Parenti, Silly Ser, Esais, E Amperville, Nimama Glen Marie Otstio, E Nipapa, Yellow Quill Otstio, Maga Regina Otstinia.
Nice, perfect. And a Michif would understand that perfectly. So Teresa's using slightly different words, but being that Michifs tended to be multilingual historically, we're very flexible with the words that we use. And so I'm just putting in the chat how you say you're related to somebody. So I would say Newako Mawak Li Fayan. But Teresa said mi paranti, and that mi paranti is like my people, my ancestors. So either one of those is fine. Of course, one is using a French word, paranti, and the other one's using a Cree word, wako mawak, which means I'm related to. So if you want to throw that in your introduction, you could get real fancy, but if you just want to try the first three, that's okay too. So any other takers? What I'd like to do then, just in case some people are feeling a little shy, I'm going to put you into breakout groups, and I'll just get you to use the chat to introduce yourself to everybody in your group. And I know that there's some people in here that are maybe a little bit more advanced because they've been learning Michif for a while. So I'm going to ask those people to wake your group, help out your group, and I'll try to pop into one or two breakout groups here as well. So let's try this out. I think let's go with 5 breakout groups. So you'll just get a message to join your group. And you can go ahead and do that.
Ras, you're muted.
I just gave a really good speech though. I said, good job, everybody. Kiki mioto te nawao. I heard some really good pronunciation. That was the gist of my speech. Okay, so we're going to move on to a little bit of review from last week. Hopefully you can see my screen. Shanna Graham, give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay, so last week we learned that there are different demonstratives for things that are alive and things that are not alive. So we learned that to say this for something that's alive, so that could be a plant, an animal. It could even be things like the stars, because in Michif, the stars and the moon and the sun are alive as well. So that word is awa. Awa. So if you want to say, this is my cat, the word for cat in Michif is minush. So you'd say, mo minushawa. This is my cat. If you want to say, that is my cat, you change awa to ana. So if that's something that you're pointing at that's not right next to you, you could say, mo minush ana. Mo minush ana. That is my cat. And if you have many cats, if you're a cat lady or a cat man, which I'm not, if you want to say, these are my cats, you change the ending to okik. You also need to change mo to me because it's plural. So the word mo is my, singular, but the word me is my, plural. So mi menoshokik. These are my cats. And if you want to say, those are my cats, maybe you're eyeing up some cats across the street. It's a mi minush anakik. Mi minush anakik. There is a way to pluralize the word minush, but I don't want to scare you too much right now, so I'm not gonna share that with you yet. I think we'll get to pluralizing nouns next week. But so if we look at inanimate, so things that aren't alive, so we'll use the example of a chair. Okay, and so a chair in Michif is shej. I've switched the mo to ma because chair is a feminine noun. So this is my chair. It'd be ma shej o ma. Ma shej oma. Oma is this. And if the chair is far away from you and you really want to claim that chair, you'd say ma shej anama. Ma shej anama. That is my chair. And maybe you're not a cat hoarder, maybe you're a chair hoarder. Then you can say ohi mi shej. Ohi mi shej. Now you've probably noticed that here the demonstrative is at the end and here it's at the beginning. It doesn't matter. You can switch the demonstrative from the beginning or the end. So I've just put it at the beginning to show you that it's interchangeable. Ohi mi shej. And if the chairs are far away from you, those chairs that you're coveting, you could say equanahin mi shej. Equanahin mi shej. Those are my chairs. So if you want to turn those into a question, we learned last week that the word what in Michif is kekwai. So if you say kekwai oma, you're asking, what is this? And usually you're holding that thing. Kekwai oma. I don't know why you would be holding something that you don't know what it is, but language is weird, okay? Or maybe I'm just weird. Okay, if you want to say, what are those? Kekwai ohin. Kekwai ohin. Now, if you're talking about things that are living, then you have to change the what, obviously, to a who. So if you want to say, who is that? Wenana. Wenana. My Uncle Larry, who teaches me Michif, when we Zoom, he knows it's me, but he'll usually say, Wenana. I don't know if he's trying to disown me or what. Could be a hint. And if you want to say, who are they? Then again, you have to pluralize it. Wena ankik. Wena ankik. Who are those strangers over there stealing my chairs and my cats? How dare they? Okay, so let's do a little bit of practice here. Now, if you don't know the words in Michif, sorry, I'm just checking somebody asked, how do you know a chair is feminine? Well, because it's got curves, I guess. I don't know. No, it's just like French. There's really no sound explanation as to why words are feminine or masculine. You just basically learn them as you learn new vocabulary. So that's the best explanation I can give you, unfortunately. I'm just going to stop sharing and make it a little bit challenging for you. God, my internet is super pokey tonight. Okay, so let's try out some of these things. Okay, let's practice some things that aren't alive first. Kekwaioma. Kekwaioma. So remember, you have to use that. I'm using this, but you have to tell me that. And it's okay to use the word in English if you don't know. Kekwaioma.
Pen anima.
And pen anima. If you're interested, a pen in Michif is en plem. En plem.
En plem.
En plem, which is kind of neat because, of course, in French you would say en stylo, but in Michif, the word for pen came about when people were still writing with feathers. So that's why it's en plem. It's very close to plume. Okay. Let's see. Let's try this. This is kind of a hard one, but where's my camera? Kekwaioma. In the middle here. Kekwaioma.
The tree?
Yeah. So how would you say that in Michif?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was unmuted.
Simon says.
Litrab ana?
So en tramana. Yeah. Good. You could also say en fai, which is a leaf. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, here's a good one. Kekwaioma. And mustache. Oma. Just kidding. It's not a mustache.
Mustache anima.
Oh,
And sash anima, or in Michif, we would say en ceinture fléchée. En ceinture fléchée. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, I'm in the middle of getting renovations, so the things that I found to show you are very random. They're the things I could dig out. Kekwaioma. And shmij anima. And shmij anima, which is a shirt. It's really a keychain, but it's a little shirt. I left my dryer on for too long and it shrunk. Okay, how about this guy? Kekwaioma.
and villain.
And what's the last word? And villain.
And villain bleu.
Anima, that.
Anima.
Yeah, that it's good, exactly. In violun anima, that is a fiddle.
I just wanted to say one thing. Sorry. My
Yes.
sister just said, "Are you at a comedy show?" She's listening over there, and that's why I'm laughing my head off. Yeah, I kind of am. That's good.
Oh, you're gonna give Russ a big head.
Yes, no, I'm a very serious guy, Lila. I'm very, very serious about this language. Okay, how about let's try some plural now. Kekwaioma. Kekwaioma.
Deciso anima.
So they're plural, so you have to use the plural for those.
Oh, so great, that one. Equanahamin,
Yeah, good. Equanahin.
equanahin.
Good.
Kesiso. Okay.
Lisizo equanahin.
Okay.
Yeah. Obendon lilunet. Just kidding. They're not glasses. Okay. Oh, how about this? Que quai onhin. Que quai onhin.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, James.
The keys,
Good. Likli equanahin. Likli equanahin. Keys are likli. And I'm going to tell you guys a secret. They're the keys to my heart. Just kidding. They're not. Okay, let's try something that's alive, a singular here. Que kwai awa. Que kwai awa.
And Le Pen?
Yeah, so you could call it en Le Pen, yeah. We would also say en Lièvre.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that like a hare or
Yeah, a rabbit.
a rabbit hare?
Yeah. Or a Pilsner keychain, if you wish.
You wouldn't say Wapus?
A Michif would understand Wapos, but most people who speak Heritage Michif would call it en Lièvre.
Lihe.
Yeah, so en Lièvre awa. This is a rabbit, or you could say en Lièvre Anna. That is a rabbit. Oh, he's very hyper, this rabbit. Oh, I'm just gonna let him go. Okay, I think he wants to go home. Let's see. Oh, how about this? Que kwai oma.
Mon pomme, Anna.
So it is an apple, but if I was thinking about the apple, I would have said, oh no, you're right, Cameron. You're right. Yeah. So you could say it's an apple, but what about this? Que kwai oma, the stuff around it.
Beads, Anna.
Yeah, so you could say that, beads ana, that is beads. In Michif, we would also call it la garniture. La garniture, which means
Is that the word for beads?
it's beadwork.
Garniture.
Beadwork. Yeah. Beads would be lirasad. I can put those in the chat. Igwa monasasi Nicholas Bejgi o Shehtan Oma. My friend Nick made that. So I'm gonna put beads is lirasad and beadwork is le garniture. Okay, let's try some who's. I was trying to find something in my house that everybody would know who that is. And I couldn't find a lot, so I resorted to drawing, but I'm not a very good drawer. So let's try this. Wena awa.
Ramon? Oh.
Mon kokum, Anna.
Hey, I'll accept that. It could be mokokam.
Irma, Anna.
Okay, yes, it could be Irma Klein. I'll give you a hint. She's on our money.
And Ren?
The red Anna.
Yeah, La Ren.
Laren?
Yeah, so La Ren Anna. But because she's deceased, when somebody's deceased in Michif, we usually add either Defen in front of their name. So Defen La Ren, the deceased queen. I told you I'm a horrible drawer. Listen, language is my thing, not drawing. Or if somebody is an elder or somebody who carries a lot of respect, you can also add ipan at the end of a word. So you could say la ren ipan, or you could say defen la ren. I'm sure she'd be very honored by the picture I've drawn of her.
Do they would she remain animate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even formerly
when,
animate.
yeah, even though she's deceased, she was once alive. And that's actually a good question, because often things that are no longer alive are still considered animate if they ever lived. So for example, flour, like the flour that you cook with, because it comes from a grain that once grew, it's actually animate and not inanimate. So how about this guy? Y'all got to know this guy. Wenawa.
Homeboy ana.
Les yeux. Les yeux. And
Anna.
les yeux. Anna.
Yeah. So most heritage Michif speakers would call him Le Bon Dieu. Le Bon Dieu. And I can put that in the chat for you. Not to be confused with bonjour, which is actually a word that Michifs don't say. We don't say bonjour, but we do say bon Dieu, which is Jesus. Okay. Do any of you want to give this a shot? You could just grab anything around you. I see for some of the people that have cameras on, I see you've got a collection of stuff around you. So you could ask us about a person, in which case you say wena ana or wena awa. Or you could ask us about a thing, in which case you'd say kekwaioma. Oh, Don, you gotta go, Don.
Hello. Wena Anna.
Good. Anybody want to answer? Who is that?
En chien ana.
And Shianawa. And Shian Anna, sorry. Yep. Good. James. We got to know who that is, James. You're muted, James.
I actually totally forgot what I was going to say.
So you'd say Wenawa.
Wainaawa.
Yeah, who is this? What's his name, James?
Oh, Chester.
Okay, Chester Anna. Chester Anna. That is Chester.
Chester Anna. Chester Anna.
Chester. Somebody else want to give it a shot? Could be living, could be not living.
I got one.
Okay, go ahead, Nicole.
Wena ana.
So I think that's a plant. Is that a plant?
Yes.
So you can say kekwai because it is a thing. So you'd say kekwai.
Kekwai oma.
Kekwai awa because it is alive. Kekwai awa.
Kekwai awa.
And plants? Anna?
Yeah, good job. And plantana or enfayujana. Enfayuge is a plant. Good. Let's have one more person give it a shot. And then we'll move on.
Kekwaioma.
Oh.
The love letter, Anna.
And love letter, Anama?
Eh?
Oh, when Adostin, who from? Secret?
It's actually a swimming card for the leisure center.
Okay. One other piece of review I wanted to do real quick is I taught you last week how to ask how much is something. Do you remember what the word is for how much?
Combien?
You can say combien. So I'll put that in the chat just in case you forgot. You could say combien. You can also say tamaya kok. And you will also hear some Michus say tanamaya kok. All of those are okay. Combien. Oh, sorry, that shouldn't be combien. It's cobain. Cobain. I'm horrible at typing. Tamaya kok, tanamaya kok, or cobain. All of those mean how much or how many. Okay. So I also taught you how to say money. Okay. Now I know as there's a lot of Michifs in here, so you probably don't have money, but imagine that you do. Then I'm going to ask you, do you remember how to say cents?
Soon.
Sue.
Fine.
Yeah, so how much would this be? Tamaya kokoma. It's a quarter in case you can't tell, but how would you say that in Michif?
25.
Yeah, 25 sous. 25 sous, 25 cents. And how do you say dollars?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. So, tamaya kokoma.
5 pièces.
Yes, 5 piastres. Good. Buenana. Anybody know?
And Betar Daraawa.
I can't translate that because I'm being recorded, but yes. Get that one.
I kind of get it. Agreed.
Okay, well, let's oh, here she is. Here's that woman that I couldn't draw. Tamaya kokoma.
Lorenana.
Okay, but tamaya kok.
20 pièces.
Yeah, 20 pièces. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. She lives in our hearts and on our money. Okay, maybe she doesn't live in our hearts, but tamaya kokoma. Oh, rich.
Oh.
50 pia.
50 piastres. 50 piastres.
Pias.
Good job. Kiki mioto tena. Wow. All right. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen here. Good memories. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about some land and some plants and some animals. Of course, there's 1,000 different words I could have taught you here, but I'm trying to narrow it down to some really common ones that, you know, things that you likely see every day or tous les jours. So just a little preface here. I put at the top here that I didn't put the articles in front of these words like a or the, but if you want to say something is singular and you're trying to say the, you would either say le or la. So for example, sun is la soleil, but I just put it as soleil here, okay? And again, to pluralize that, you would say li, so double E, li. You'll also sometimes see this written as double I, L-I-I. But as I mentioned many times before, I prefer phonetics. So if you saw two suns, maybe you're in Star Wars, you'd say li soleil, okay? And if you want to say a instead of the, it's the word en. But I've put the n in parentheses here to indicate that it's a nasally eh. You don't actually have to pinch your nose. Unless it helps, then pinch your nose. Okay, so let's learn these words together. So I'll just get you to repeat after me. So sun is soleil. Soleil.
Soleil.
Moon is lune. Lune. Lake is lac. Lac. A hill is butte. Butte. A road is chemin. Chemin. Mishtli chemin osheta waka anoshchike. Lots of roads are being fixed right now. Stars are les étoiles. Les étoiles. The prairie, prairie. Prairie. It's handy if you can roll that first R, but if you can't, it's okay to say prairie. Grass is foin, and the N is a nasally N. So just to remind you that when a word is French derived, and 90% of all nouns in Michif are French derived, if it ends in an N, it's almost always a nasally N, foin. Trees, there's actually two ways to say trees. You can say litram, or you can say lizarbe. Weeds are zarbage, lizarbage. Mishchet lizarbage nadayan. I have lots of weeds. Berries are ligren. A pine tree is enpinet. So you do pronounce the T, it's not silent. Enpinet. Saskatoon berries are lipuer. Choke cherries. Now there's two ways to say choke cherries. Now, if you are talking about ground choke cherries, which you would use for like jams or all sorts of things, I guess. I don't really eat choke cherries, but if you do and you grind them up, you would say ligren, which is again the same word as berry. I guess because choke cherries are quite common, they were just sort of the same word for berry. But if you're talking about whole choke cherries, you can also say takwahamena. And if you get them mixed up, it's fine. As long as it's in context, the Michif will understand that you're talking about choke cherries. A cat. You're going to find in Michif sometimes very common words often have multiple ways to say them. And again, that's a throwback to our historic multilingualism as a people. But a cat is ensha. So you don't pronounce the T like you would in French. Or it's enmenosh. Some Michif will even actually say enposis, which is a Soto word, and it kind of shows the influence of both Cree and Soto on some of our words. A dog is en chien. So you do say the N here, en chien. Fish is poisson. A cow is en vache. Now there's two ways to actually say buffalo. You can say buffalo, which you'll see in a lot of Michif dictionaries. It's just buffalo with two O's on it, buffalo. But where I come from, we actually call buffalo les vaches de prairie, which are prairie cows. Makes sense. Birds are toiseaux, les toiseaux. And I stuck bad in here. It's not that common, but it's one of my favorite words in Michif, so I have to share it with you. It's bakwana chish. So you just break it down. Bakwana chish. So I have a couple sample sentences that hopefully some of you will be willing to try out here. So I realize what do you like is kind of a weird thing to say, but we're going to say it anyway. So how do you like something is kekwai kamiehten. Kekwai kamiehten. So there's that H in there that you've got to push out. Miehten. Kekwai kamiehten. And if you want to answer, I like green grass, you could say, Nemiehten le fuen vert. Nemiehten le fuen vert. You can also switch the order to say le fuen vert nemiehten. But again, a Michif is going to understand either way. to dislike something, there's a couple ways to say dislike, but I thought I would give you an easy one, which is pakwaten. That's kind of like you strongly dislike something. So ke kwai ke pakwaten. Ke kwai ke pakwaten. What do you dislike? I'm going to get disowned for saying this from my Michif relatives, but I hate Saskatoons. I've never been a fan of Saskatoons or choke cherries for that matter. So I would say nepakwaten li puer. Nepakwaten li puer. I do not like Saskatoons. So you have some words here. Some of you have quite an extensive vocabulary outside of this chart. You also know colors from last class. So I'm wondering if one of you or some of you can tell me, what do you like? Ke kwai ke miehten. So for example, if you like lakes, you could say, oh, namiehten li lak. I like lakes. Or if you're from the south, you'd say, namiehten li lak ver, because all of our lakes are green. Gross. Somebody want to tell me what you like? Ke kwai ke miehten.
I could try.
All right.
Ni miaten Shaw a chien.
Ah, nishta. Me too. I like cats and dogs. Good job.
Beaucoup.
Somebody else want to give it a shot? Good job, Doc.
Oh, good job.
I could try.
Okay.
Ni miehten li toiseaux rouges.
Ah, you like red birds. Cool. Good job.
I have there are cardinals in my yard. How do you know how to say cardinal?
I don't know how to say cardinal. Lila, do you know how to say cardinal? Probably in Kajanal, which is how we say the name cardinal in Michif.
Cardinal.
And
Toiseaux
Kajanal.
rouges.
Cool. Do you live in Regina, Nicole?
Just a second. I want to say it in the shift.
Yeah.
Is it dush?
Weekend.
Push tau li zu ni no.
Weekend.
Te Caranto ni weekend.
Okay. Cool. I was gonna say I don't see very many cardinals in Regina, so you must be out of the city here. Good. Somebody else want to give it a shot? What do you like? Ke kwai ke miehten. Na miehten la bingo.
Can I give it a try?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Okay, I'm gonna do something animate though, so hopefully I get the change of it right. Nimia mal wak li bakwana chish por the supi.
Ah, you like bat soup? Or you like to eat bats for supper?
I'm actually a vegetarian.
Either way, I'm entertained. Good job. Somebody else want to give it a go?
I'll go.
Okay.
Ni miehten le lac, equa le valley, equa la percent.
Good job. Give me a toten. Okay, so moving right along here. I hope you like charades because we're going to give this a shot. So I'm going to put you in breakout groups and we're going to practice the ke kwai o ma. Okay, so I've got instructions here. It says everyone will choose one animate or one inanimate object. So just one, you don't have to do both. So you might have to look around your house here. And then you're going to really look at that thing you've grabbed and then you're going to ask, what kind of action would I do if I was a chair? And you're going to actually act out your object. Okay. So, and you can use sounds, right? So an example would be, I don't know, maybe I'm a vacuum. You could go, ke kwai o ma, and vacuum anima. Okay, so everyone else in the group will answer with so-and-so anima, which is that is a. And you can use the English for the words if you don't know them. I don't know how to say a vacuum in Michif. I don't think there is a word for vacuum in Michif. So you can just say, and vacuum anima, okay? So I'm gonna ask that everybody in your group acts out one thing. Again, it could be alive, it could be not alive. Just remember that if it's alive, you have to use awa and ana, okay? And if it's not alive, you have to use oma and anama.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
I'm a little bit confused. Is alive Kekwe and not alive is Wena?
So
or is
if
it the other way? Because I thought when people were doing cats or dogs, they were saying Wena. And I thought that was inanimate.
So if you're talking about a person, or you could use an animal, the word wena means who. So you could,
okay.
Yeah, so you could say who, but if you're talking about a plant, it's still alive, but it's not a who.
It's a what or a who. Okay,
exactly.
Good. Just clarify. Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. So hopefully you all got the instructions for the charades, and if not, I'll be popping into the breakout groups to do some clarifying here. So let me make some groups real quick. I think maybe we'll just keep the same groups that we had here now that you all know each other. Okay, so go ahead and join your room when you're invited. Okay, good job, everybody. I know that required some bravery. So thanks for being brave, being silly. I'm always like blown away by how fast this class goes, but we can review this next class. But really quickly, I just wanted to teach you some common weather words. So hopefully you can see my screen. If not, you can just shout out that you can't see my screen. So you can just repeat after me real quick, and then we'll end the evening. So snowing, mishpun, mishpun. Wind or windy is yutin, yutin. Labram is fog, labram. Kimawashin is sort of raining, like drizzle, kimawashin. Maya kishikau, it's an ugly day. Maya kishikau. La glace one is it's icy out. La glace one. Iquashquan is cloudy. Iquashquan. Kishashteo, it's hot out. Oh, Kishashteo, anosh, it was hot today. Machakishakau, it's a like really, really ugly blizzardy day. Machakishakau. It's snowing, it's windy, it's blizzardy. Tahkayao means it's cold. So you really got to push that H out. Tahkayao. Washeshquan is it sunny. Washeshquan. Kimowan, it's raining hard. Kimowan. Shapash chippy one is ground drift. Oh, hopefully we don't see that for a while. This is a tricky one, so break it up. I find it handy to take about every 3 or 4 letters. So shapash chippy one. Shapash chippy one. Le tonnerre pakinakeo. It's thundering. Le tonnerre pakinakeo. Miokishikau is it's a beautiful day. Miokishikau. And the last one is tehketeo, which means it's melting. I'm melting. Tehketeo. So hopefully you get some chance to maybe read those over. We'll practice them next class. I've got some sample sentences here at the bottom. So next class, I'm going to ask you all about the weather. Okay. Okay, man. Maybe these classes should have been an hour and a half. Just kidding. Thanks for hanging out, everybody, tonight. I appreciate your time as usual. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful, nice weather out. And I will see you next week. Let's men kawapa mitten na wow.
Bye-bye.